Hello and welcome to the Sleepy Scientist. This is your moment to relax, slow down the day, and let yourself sink into something calm, curious, and maybe a little surprising. Before we go too far, I'd like to know where in the world you're watching from tonight. If you enjoy these gentle science wanderings, giving a like and a subscribe helps more than you might imagine, and for those who are already part of this little community, thank you. You're the reason I get to create these bedtime adventures into science and wonder. Now I can't promise this will put you to sleep, but if it doesn't, at least you'll drift off knowing a bit more about some of the strangest creatures to ever live on Earth. There are worse ways to lose a few minutes of rest. So what exactly makes a dinosaur strange? Is it a massive claw, a head shaped like a trumpet, or the ability to glide through a prehistoric forest with 4 wings? Let's see. Dinosaurs have always had a strange place in our minds. They are impossibly ancient yet oddly familiar. We imagine them as monsters, giants, or distant relatives of animals we know today. But when you look closer, the truth is far more interesting and often even stranger. Most people can name a few classics: the towering sharp-toothed hunter, the 3-horned plant-eater, the plated-backed stegosaur. These are the famous stars of the dinosaur world, but the family tree is huge, and hidden within its branches are creatures that look like they walked out of a dream or a surreal painting. Their shapes confuse scientists. Their behaviors are still a mystery, and their special features seem almost like nature's mistakes, except nature rarely makes a mistake without a reason. Strange dinosaurs are not just oddities, they are proof of evolution's endless creativity. Every strange crest, sail, claw, or feather tells a story about survival in a world very different from ours. Sometimes these features helped them find food, sometimes they kept them from becoming food, and sometimes they were just for showing off. On this journey, we'll step quietly into their ancient homes. We'll watch sunlight glint off the spines of a long-necked giant. We'll hear the strange sound of a duck-billed dinosaur's head tube echo across a swamp. We'll glide on the wind beside a small predator with wings on all 4 limbs. And as we go, we'll see that in the dinosaur world, normal was only a matter of perspective. So get comfortable, and let's walk among the strangest dinosaurs to ever exist. If you walked into a Jurassic forest over 150 million years ago, the first thing you'd notice is how small you feel. Giant conifer and ginkgo trees stretch high into the sky, their tops joining together far above. The air is warm, damp, and buzzing with ancient life. Somewhere far off you'd hear the slow, careful creak of something huge moving through the trees. Then out from the greenery would come a creature so oddly shaped that your sense of size might fail. This is a Mammonchosaurus, known most for one thing: its neck. Not just long but unbelievably long. Mammonchosaurus holds the record for the longest neck of any known dinosaur, reaching nearly half the length of its whole body. Imagine a creature more than 70 feet long with over 30 feet of that being neck alone. It's as if nature decided to see just how far a vertebrate's design could be pushed. The neck was made of an impressive series of bones, more than a dozen in some species, each stretched out like a spool. These bones were filled with air pockets, a clever trick that made them lighter without losing strength, just like the hollow bones birds use today. Without that weight-saving design, the neck would have been far too heavy to lift or move. So what did Mamenchisaurus do with this massive reach? The obvious answer is feeding. Jurassic forests were filled with tall plants, and a neck like a crane meant it could eat from treetops other dinosaurs couldn't touch. Picture it sweeping its head through the branches, stripping leaves with peg-shaped teeth made for pulling foliage but not for chewing. The food was swallowed whole, its huge stomach breaking it down slowly. The neck may also have helped it feed without moving its heavy body too much. Instead of walking from tree to tree, it could just turn its neck and reach a wide area, saving energy and avoiding rough ground. In a world where size was both a gift and a challenge, saving energy mattered. Not all scientists think the neck was only for eating. Some believe it was also important for social life. Maybe males moved their long necks in slow, graceful arcs to impress females or scare rivals. Others suggest they used it to reach water or even to feed on plants growing low to the ground without bending their legs, simply curving the neck downward. In paleontology, one feature can have more than one job. The great height of Mamenchisaurus also brought challenges. Pumping blood all the way to the head would have needed a powerful heart and special ways to control blood pressure, like modern giraffes but on a much bigger scale. We don't know exactly how their bodies managed this, but the fact they survived for millions of years shows they figured it out. Even with their size, these sauropods probably moved slowly and steadily, like elephants today. The ground would shake a little under their weight, their long tails swinging gently behind them as a counterbalance. Life 4. Mamenchisaurus was probably calm, eat, digest, move a little, repeat, but their size didn't make them completely safe. Predators like Allosaurus lived in the same places, and a young or injured Mamenchisaurus could be in danger if it was alone. Living in herds might have offered safety. Many sauropods are thought to have done this. Imagine lines of these giants moving slowly across a sunlit plain, their necks rising and falling like ships on calm water. It would have been both majestic and a little unreal. Proof of how far evolution could stretch the dinosaur design. In the story of prehistoric life, Mamenchisaurus is a masterpiece of specialization. Its neck wasn't just part of its body, it was its main identity, giving it access to food others couldn't reach and possibly helping with social displays. Even today, with only bones and reconstructions, it's hard not to be amazed by its design. Some dinosaurs were strange because of horns or feathers. Mamenchisaurus was strange because it took one idea, make the neck longer, and pushed it to the extreme. It shows that nature's experiments can be bold, even risky looking, and still succeed. You can almost picture that long neck swaying gently above the trees, a silhouette against the warm Jurassic sky. while the world moved below. Now imagine walking through the late Cretaceous landscape when flowering plants were spreading across the land and herds of plant-eaters grazed in the warm afternoon sun. Among them stands a creature that at first glance looks like other two-legged plant-eaters: strong hind legs, short arms close to the body, a stiff tail for balance, and a beak for biting plants. But then you see its head, a round dome of solid bone shining in the sunlight. This is Pachycephalosaurus, one of the strangest dinosaurs ever. The dome is what makes it famous. It could be up to 10 inches thick, made of solid bone over the brain like a helmet. Around it were small bumps and short spikes, giving it a medieval look. In life, it was about 15 feet long, the largest known dome-headed dinosaur. For years scientists argued about what the dome was for. The most popular idea is that Pachycephalosaurus used it to headbutt rivals in fights for territory or mates, much like bighorn sheep today. But when the skulls were studied more closely, it turned out the shape of the head and the neck might not have been perfect for constant head-on impacts. Some think they may have used flank butting instead, hitting each other's sides instead of colliding straight on. This could still show strength but with less risk of brain or neck injury. Others believe the dome was mainly for display, to attract mates or show dominance. In that case, the bumps and spikes might have been covered in bright skin colors, turning the head into a billboard of health and status. Some fossils even show healed injuries on domes, meaning they did sometimes hit something, maybe each other, so head impacts were possible. Even if not their main behavior, Pachycephalosaurus had a beak for clipping plants and small leaf-shaped teeth for chewing, probably eating leaves, fruits, and seeds. Its stiff muscular tail helped balance the head in movement and maybe during those head-related actions. Its name means thick-headed lizard, and while it had a huge skull, its body was built for quick movement. Strong legs could help it run from predators like Tyrannosaurus rex or fast pack hunters. Interestingly, most fossils we have are just skulls or skull pieces. For a long time scientists weren't sure if smaller flat-headed pachycephalosaurs were different species or young ones. Bone studies now show they were juveniles whose domes grew and thickened as they matured, just like deer antlers get bigger with age. This growth pattern fits well with the idea of the dome being for display. A young Pachycephalosaurus still growing its dome would have had little reason to get into serious fights. It may have stayed out of social contests until older. By adulthood the full dome could work both as a visual signal and as a tool in whatever contests they had. In the bigger picture of dinosaur evolution, Pachycephalosaurus is an example of a strange anatomical experiment. While other plant eaters grew horns, frills, or armor, this one went for a helmet, whether for fighting, attracting mates, or just looking impressive. The dome was its signature, and it remains one of the most unique features in the dinosaur world. Even now scientists don't fully agree on what it was for, and maybe that's part of the charm. It reminds us that dinosaurs weren't only about teeth and size, but also about surprising strategies. Pachycephalosaurus might not have been the largest or most dangerous, but it was one of the most distinctive, its head still sparking curiosity more than 70 million years later. Now imagine meeting Therizinosaurus for the first time. Without warning, you might think you were facing a nightmare predator. It could be 33 feet long, with a long neck, a big round belly, and arms ending in 3 of the longest claws any land animal ever had, each claw over 3 feet long, curved like a scythe and glinting in the sun. But despite looking fierce, Therizinosaurus was not a meat eater, it was a plant eater. That mix of scary looks and gentle diet is part of what makes it so fascinating. Its claws weren't for tearing flesh but for pulling down branches, stripping leaves, and maybe gathering fruit. It belonged to a strange group of theropods called therizinosaurs, close relatives of predators like Velociraptor and Tyrannosaurus rex. But they took a very different path, where their relatives went for teeth and speed. Therizinosaurs slowed down, widened their bodies, and ate plants. Therizinosaurus lived about 70 million years ago in what is now Mongolia, a land of forests, river plains, and flood channels. Its long neck let it reach leaves high up, and its wide, barrel-shaped body held a large stomach for breaking down tough plants. Like many plant eaters, it probably swallowed food with little chewing, relying on fermentation in its gut to digest. The claws, while mainly for feeding, could have been used for defense too. A swipe from one could be deadly. Some scientists think they may have also helped it climb against trees or pull down heavy branches. The idea of a huge dinosaur delicately picking leaves with claws the size of swords is both funny and amazing. Its head was small compared to its arms, ending in a toothless beak for cropping plants. Behind the beak it may have had a few small teeth, but they weren't the main tools. Its body shape was unlike anything else. A mix of predator-like features and clear plant-eating adaptations. Therizinosaurus also had feathers, simple hair-like ones covering much of its body. These weren't for flying, but may have helped with warmth, display, or protecting eggs. The combination of feathers, massive claws, and a round body made its silhouette one of the strangest in prehistory. When first discovered in the mid-1900s, only the claws were found, and scientists thought they belonged to a giant turtle-like creature. It was only later, with more skeletons, that the real image came together. Even now full skeletons are rare. Most knowledge comes from comparing bones to smaller relatives. Therizinosaurus likely lived a slow, steady life, feeding in one area for a long time before moving on. Its long arms gave it reach in many directions without needing to move much. This efficiency could have been key to its survival. We don't know if it lived in groups, but some artists picture them in loose gatherings. Females nesting and males showing off their claws and feathers in mating displays. The claws might have been as much for show as for use, like a peacock's tail but sharper. To a fellow Therizinosaurus they could be attractive. To a predator they were a warning. Large hunters like Tarbosaurus lived nearby, so size alone didn't make it safe, but standing tall with claws raised might have made even a hungry predator hesitate. In the end, Therizinosaurus is a reminder that evolution doesn't always follow a straight path. Here was a relative of fierce hunters that turned into a slow-moving leaf eater but kept some of the scariest tools in the business. It was a gentle giant with a predator's arms, blending the unexpected into a design that worked. In the warm lands of the late Cretaceous, herds of duck-billed dinosaurs fed among ferns and flowers. They were big peaceful plant eaters with long tails sweeping the ground as they walked from patch to patch, but one stood out not for its size but for the tall curved crest rising from the back of its head like an elegant horn. This was Parasaurolophus, one of the most unique hadrosaurs, the family of duck-billed dinosaurs. Hadrosaurs were some of the most successful plant eaters of the Cretaceous, living in large herds across North America and Asia. Most had small or no crests, but Parasaurolophus had one that could grow over 6 feet long, making it one of the largest in the dinosaur world. The most interesting thing about this crest wasn't just how big it was, but what was inside. Scans of skull fossils show a network of hollow tubes running through it, connected to the nasal passages. This led scientists to think the crest worked like a built-in musical instrument. It could push air from its lungs through these tubes to make deep sounds that traveled far. Each crest was slightly different in shape and size, meaning each dinosaur might have had its own tone, like musical instruments that sound a little different from each other. These sounds could help them talk to each other, warn of danger, or attract mates. Some scientists think their calls were low and haunting, like the sound of a ship's horn rolling across ancient swamps. The crest may have also been for visual display. In life it could have been covered in brightly colored skin to catch attention during shows or courtship. Using both sound and sight together would make communication even stronger. The crest changed as they grew. Young ones had smaller crests that got longer as they matured, suggesting it was more important for adults, perhaps in mating or leading the herd. Parasaurolophus was about 30 feet long, able to walk on both 2 and 4 legs depending on what it was doing. Its teeth were packed into grinding batteries that could break down tough plants. It probably ate everything from low ferns to high branches by standing up on its back legs. It lived in herds for safety, especially from predators like tyrannosaurs. In a herd, the crest's sounds would be useful for keeping the group together in thick plants or over long distances. Fossils show there were different species with slightly different crest shapes, supporting the idea that the crest's form was shaped by social or mating needs. While the sound theory is most famous, some scientists think the crest may have also helped regulate body heat or improve the sense of smell. Maybe it did more than one thing. Evolution often finds multiple uses for the same feature. Parasaurolophus was first described in the 1920s, and its crest immediately drew attention. Early drawings sometimes showed it pointing forward like a horn. Until more fossils showed its backward sweep, it's now one of the most recognizable dinosaurs in culture. It challenges the old idea that dinosaurs were only built for survival. Its crest may have been practical but was also shaped by communication and beauty. Much like birds today, you can imagine a herd in the morning mist, heads rising above the plants as a deep note rolls through the air. Another answers, then another, until the sound becomes a chorus, each call a little different but blending into one voice. For us it's only a guess built from bones and studies, but in their time it was real. Parasaurolophus shows that the age of dinosaurs was not silent. It was filled with voices carried not by instruments made by hands, but by the bones of the animals themselves. Life found a way to speak and be heard. In the last days of the dinosaurs, while Tyrannosaurus rex ruled the land, there was one plant-eater that didn't run from trouble. It stood its ground. This was Ankylosaurus, a living fortress built low and wide, over 20 feet long and close to 8 tons in weight. Its body was covered in thick bony plates called osteoderms arranged in neat rows across its back, neck, and tail. Many had knobs or spikes, making a bite a painful mistake for any predator. Even its skull was a helmet of bone with small horns at the back and sides, and its eyelids had bony covers. Its most famous weapon was the massive tail club made of fused bone, heavy enough to break a predator's leg with one swing. Some predator fossils even show healed injuries that could have been caused by this weapon. With armor and a club, Ankylosaurus could live slowly, spending its days foraging for low plants like ferns and cycads. Its beak-shaped mouth clipped plants. Small leaf-shaped teeth shredded them, and its large gut digested the rest through fermentation. Even the mighty T-Rex might think twice before attacking a full-grown Ankylosaurus, though a well-placed bite to its softer underside could still be deadly. Young ones without full armor were more at risk. The armor plates may have been covered with keratin, giving them a smooth finish, while their arrangement may also have helped individuals recognize each other or show strength. The tail club wasn't swung all the time. Using it took energy, and often just seeing it was enough to scare off attackers. Ankylosaurus likely used its wide eyes to watch for threats and had large nostrils, possibly for a better sense of smell or even temperature control. Some scientists wonder if its nasal passages could have helped it make low sounds, though that's still uncertain. Imagine it moving through the late Cretaceous landscape, tail sweeping behind, the ground trembling under its weight. Predators watching from a distance, deciding it wasn't worth the fight. Its fossils are rare compared to other dinosaurs, partly because its heavy body may not have fossilized easily. Ankylosaurus is a perfect example of defense as survival. It didn't need speed or stealth, it simply made itself too much trouble to bother with. Even in a world of teeth and claws, this slow plant-eater earned respect by standing ready. Far to the south during the Cretaceous, in what is now Argentina, there lived one of the largest animals to ever walk the earth, Argentinosaurus, a titanosaur so massive that estimates place it at over 100 feet long and weighing as much as 80 to 100 tons. Its sheer size is hard to imagine. A single leg bone could be taller than a grown person. Its neck stretched forward to graze the tops of trees, and its tail trailed behind like a great living whip. The bones of Argentinosaurus are incomplete. So much of its appearance is based on close relatives, but what we know shows a giant built for slow, steady movement. Its massive legs supported a wide barrel-shaped body, and its long neck gave it access to leaves no other animal could reach. Feeding may have taken up most of its day, stripping branches with a simple peg-like row of teeth and swallowing leaves whole. Digestion happened in its enormous gut, probably helped by swallowed stones that ground the food. Predators like Giganotosaurus, one of the largest meat-eaters ever, lived in the same area, but even it would have struggled to bring down a healthy adult Argentinosaurus. Only the young or weak would have been at risk. Its size alone was a powerful defense. In herds they may have moved slowly across the plains, their weight leaving deep prints in the soft earth, each step a reminder of their dominance over the landscape. Communication between such giants might have included deep sounds carried through the ground, felt as vibrations by others miles away. Their lifespan may have been long, decades of slow growth until full size, then many more years as towering elders of the herd. Argentinosaurus is a symbol of the extremes life can reach when given time and the right conditions. While most animals get smaller when resources are scarce, these sauropods had the rich plant life of warm, wet climates to fuel their size. Their story is also a reminder that even the biggest creatures are vulnerable when young, and that strength often comes from both size and numbers. Walking beside one would make a human feel smaller than an insect, looking up at its neck disappearing into the canopy, knowing its heart was pumping blood over 30 feet up to its head, its slow breathing moving air through lungs the size of a small room. In the Age of Giants, Argentinosaurus was one of the greatest. In the vast deserts of what is now Mongolia during the late Cretaceous, a strange predator moved on two slender legs, its body light and built for speed, its long tail acting as a perfect counterbalance. This was Velociraptor, far smaller than the movie version, about the size of a turkey, yet every bit as deadly. Its most famous weapon was the curved sickle-shaped claw on each foot, over 2.5 inches long. Sharp and designed to slice, Velociraptor's skull was long and narrow, lined with sharp teeth, and its large eyes faced forward for precise depth perception. It was covered in feathers, giving it a bird-like appearance. Though it could not fly, the feathers may have been used for warmth, display, or helping balance during quick movements. Fossils show it hunted small animals, reptiles, and possibly young dinosaurs. Its agility allowed it to dart in and out, striking with its claws and teeth before retreating. One fossil famously preserves a velociraptor locked in combat with a Protoceratops, the two having died mid-fight, perhaps buried by a sudden sandstorm. This rare find shows its hunting style was direct and risky. Velociraptor may have hunted alone or in loose groups, though evidence for true pack hunting is still debated. Its brain was large for its size, suggesting it had good problem-solving abilities. It may have used strategy and quick thinking in hunting. Its senses of smell and vision were strong, giving it an edge in the open desert and rocky outcrops. It called home. Despite its size, Velociraptor was likely a top predator in its environment, filling a role similar to small cats today: fast, opportunistic, and fierce. The connection between Velociraptor and modern birds is one of the clearest examples of evolution's path. Its skeleton shares many traits with birds, and its feathers confirm the link. It's a reminder that not all dinosaurs were huge. Some were small, fast, and incredibly specialized, when you imagine it moving through the golden dunes, feathers catching the sunlight, head low and eyes fixed on its target. You can see both a hunter from the past and a glimpse of the birds that would follow. The name Velociraptor means swift thief, and it earned that name well, every movement calculated for speed and precision. In the heat of the desert it thrived, using speed instead of strength, agility instead of armor, and intelligence as its sharpest tool. It may not have been the largest predator, but it was one of the most efficient, proving that in nature, being small can still make you a giant in skill. High in the skies of the late Cretaceous, above the rivers and plains where dinosaurs roamed, flew one of the largest flying creatures to ever live, Quetzalcoatlus, a pterosaur with a wingspan that could reach over 35 feet, taller than a giraffe when standing. Its long, toothless beak stretched like a spear, and its neck was incredibly long and strong, giving it the reach to snatch prey from the ground or water. Unlike many imagine, Quetzalcoatlus wasn't a dinosaur but a flying reptile, part of the last and largest group of pterosaurs, the Azhdarchids. Its size has sparked endless debate among scientists about how it flew. Its hollow bones made it lightweight despite its size, and powerful wing muscles attached to a huge breastbone gave it the strength to take off. Some believe it launched from the ground with a vault-like push from its strong forelimbs before sweeping into the air. Others think it spent much of its time soaring on warm air currents, covering miles with little effort. Its lifestyle is still a mystery. Some imagine it hunting like a stork, walking on all fours across open ground, picking off small animals, fish, and carrion. Its long legs and beak perfect for quick strikes. It may have even stolen kills from other predators. In flight it could have scanned the landscape below, gliding silently before folding its wings to dive, landing near rivers or coastlines where prey was plentiful. The world it lived in was rich and dangerous, with giant predators on land and other large pterosaurs in the air. Yet Quetzalcoatlus seems to have held a top spot in its niche. Young ones may have been more agile, feeding in smaller areas until they grew strong enough to travel long distances. Fossils are rare, mostly partial bones, yet enough has been found to inspire awe at its scale. Its name comes from the feathered serpent god Quetzalcoatl of ancient Mesoamerica. A fitting title for something both graceful and terrifying, imagining it standing on a riverbank, its shadow stretching far over the water, is enough to see why smaller animals would keep their distance. In the late Cretaceous skies, it was a ruler without equal, a master of air and land, blending the precision of a hunter with the patience of a scavenger. Its reign ended with the same mass extinction that took the dinosaurs, but in its time, it was one of evolution's boldest designs. Proof that the skies could hold giants just as the land did. In the lush forests of the early Cretaceous, small streams wound between ferns and cycads, and in these quiet places lived a predator unlike any other, Deinonychus, a relative of Velociraptor but far larger and more powerful, about 11 feet long from nose to tail. It stood on two strong legs, each armed with a deadly curved claw over 4 inches long. Its body was built for speed and agility. With a long stiff tail for balance, and feathers covering much of its body, its arms ended in 3 fingered hands tipped with sharp claws, giving it both grabbing and slashing ability. Deinonychus hunted medium-sized plant eaters, using its claws to grip and its teeth to tear. Some scientists believe it hunted in coordinated groups, attacking from multiple angles to overwhelm prey. Its intelligence was high for a dinosaur, its brain-to-body ratio suggesting complex behavior. The discovery of Deinonychus in the 1960s changed how scientists saw dinosaurs. Before then, dinosaurs were thought of as slow and sluggish, but Deinonychus showed they could be fast, active, and bird-like. Its name means terrible claw, and that claw was its main weapon, raised off the ground when walking to keep it sharp, striking with speed and precision when attacking. Its feathers may have been used for display, warmth, or protecting eggs. Fossils of related species show nests and possible brooding behavior, suggesting care for the young. In its world, large predators like Acrocanthosaurus were too big to challenge, so Deinonychus focused on prey it could take down with speed, agility, and teamwork. Plant eaters like Tenontosaurus may have been frequent targets. Evidence from fossil sites shows bones of these dinosaurs alongside multiple Deinonychus teeth, hinting at group feeding. Whether this was true pack hunting or simply opportunistic gathering is still debated, but the idea of a coordinated team of fast, intelligent hunters makes Deinonychus one of the most fascinating predators of its time. Its keen eyesight, quick reflexes, and lethal claws made it a dangerous neighbor to anything within its size range. In the dense green world it lived in, the sudden rush of Deinonychus from the undergrowth would have been a deadly surprise. A flash of feathers, a glint of claws, and the forest floor would fall silent once more. Deinonychus stands as proof that in the dinosaur age, brain and speed could rival sheer size, making it one of evolution's most efficient designs for the hunt. In the icy reaches of what is now Alaska during the late Cretaceous, a small but tough dinosaur thrived where winters were long and dark. This was Truden, a name that means wounding tooth, for the sharp, serrated teeth lining its narrow jaws. Truden was about 8 feet long, lightly built, and one of the most intelligent dinosaurs known, with a brain-to-body ratio close to that of modern birds. Its large forward-facing eyes gave it excellent depth perception and may have allowed it to see well. In low light, perfect for life in regions where the sun could vanish for months, its long legs and slender build suggest it could run quickly, and like its dromaeosaur relatives, it had a sickle-shaped claw on each foot. Though smaller, its teeth show it was an omnivore, eating small animals, eggs, insects, and plants. This flexibility may have been key to surviving in a challenging environment. Truden's feathers would have helped it stay warm in cold seasons, and it may have nested in colonies, returning to the same sites each year. Fossilized eggs suggest they may have cared for their young, perhaps with one parent guarding while the other hunted. In summer, the forests it lived in were green and full of food, but in winter, snow and darkness would have tested its ability to find enough to eat. Its sharp senses, agility, and varied diet gave it an edge over more specialized dinosaurs. Truden's intelligence has led some scientists to speculate what it might have become had dinosaurs not gone extinct. Though such ideas are fun, they are guesses. In its own time, it was already a master of survival in one of the harshest parts of the dinosaur world. Imagine it moving silently through the snowy undergrowth, head turning to catch every sound, eyes glinting in the faint light, ready to snatch up a small mammal or dig into a frozen cache of plants. Truden reminds us that success isn't only about size or strength, it's about adaptability, and in a land of extremes, it was perfectly suited to its world. In the river plains of the early Jurassic, herds of plant-eaters grazed under the watchful eyes of predators, and among them was a hunter that has long captured human imagination, Dilophosaurus. Its name means two-crested lizard, for the pair of thin, curved crests that rose from the top of its head, each crest made of delicate bone and likely covered in bright skin. Too fragile for combat, they were probably for display. To attract mates or signal to rivals, Dilophosaurus was about 20 feet long, one of the largest predators of its time, with long legs for speed and a powerful tail for balance. Its jaws were lined with sharp teeth, suited for gripping prey. Its body was lightly built, allowing it to move quickly across the open landscape. It hunted smaller dinosaurs and may have scavenged from larger kills. The crests made it one of the most distinctive predators of the early Jurassic. Though its fame in popular culture often adds fictional details like a frill or venom, there is no evidence for these in real life. Fossils show that Dilophosaurus had strong arms with clawed hands for grabbing prey, and it may have hunted in pairs or small groups. The river valleys where it lived would flood seasonally, creating rich feeding grounds but also drawing many predators. Competition for food would have been constant. Its large size and speed gave it an edge. While the crests may have helped it stand out in the social world of its species, when you picture it striding through the early morning mist, crests glowing in the first sunlight, you can imagine how it ruled its environment, blending speed, agility, and a touch of showmanship. In the late Cretaceous of South America, a predator unlike any other stalked the floodplains, Carnotaurus. Its name means meat-eating bull, for the short blunt horns above its eyes. It was about 26 feet long, lightly built, and capable of bursts of great speed. Its most unusual feature was its extremely short arms, even smaller than those of Tyrannosaurus. They were so reduced they likely had no use in hunting. Instead, Carnotaurus relied on its speed, strong jaws, and forward-facing eyes for the chase. Its skull was deep and narrow, lined with sharp teeth, and its neck was muscular, allowing powerful head movements. Its horns may have been used in combat with other Carnotaurus, locking heads or delivering sideways blows. Its skin, preserved in rare fossils, was covered in rows of small bumps and larger scales, giving it a rough, armored look. It likely hunted medium to large herbivores, using surprise and speed to run them down. Its long legs and springy build suggest it could sprint faster than many predators of its size. The open plains of its home provided space for high-speed chases, and its forward-facing eyes gave it good depth perception for tracking moving prey. When you imagine Carnotaurus charging across the plain, its horns low, jaws open, and tail whipping behind for balance, you can see why it was a fearsome hunter. Its blend of speed, vision, and raw power made it one of the most specialized predators of its time, and its strange appearance ensures it remains one of the most memorable. In the warm coastal waters of the late Cretaceous, a predator swam that was neither fish nor dinosaur, but a marine reptile built for speed and precision, Tylosaurus, a type of mosasaur that could reach over 45 feet long. Its name means knob lizard, for the bony bump at the tip of its long snout. It used this snout to ram into prey before biting, stunning fish, squid, and other marine animals. Tylosaurus had a long, streamlined body, powerful tail, and paddle-like limbs, allowing it to move quickly through the water. Its jaws were armed with sharp conical teeth that could pierce and hold slippery prey. It was an apex predator, eating almost anything it could catch, including other mosasaurs. Fossils of its stomach contents show a varied diet of fish, turtles, birds, and even sharks. Its skull was built to open wide, and double-hinged jaws allowed it to swallow large prey whole. Tylosaurus breathed air, surfacing regularly between hunts, and likely gave birth to live young in the open ocean. Young Tylosaurus would have been smaller but still dangerous, hunting in safer shallow waters until big enough to compete with adults. Its eyes faced forward, giving it depth perception to track prey, and its speed meant few creatures could escape once it began the chase. It may have patrolled the edges of reefs, lurking in the blue before darting in to strike, or followed schools of fish across open seas. Its size and power made it one of the rulers of the ancient oceans, and its streamlined body remains a perfect example of marine adaptation in reptiles. On the vast floodplains of the late Cretaceous in what is now Asia, a long-necked predator moved with both grace and deadly intent, Aeliormus, a relative of Tyrannosaurus rex but more slender and lightly built. It was about 20 to 25 feet long, with a narrow skull lined with many small, sharp teeth. Unlike the thick, crushing teeth of its larger cousin, these were suited for quick, slicing bites. Its name means different branch, fitting for a predator that took a different path from the massive T. Rex. Its skull had a row of bony bumps along the top, which may have been used for display, perhaps to attract mates or show dominance. Aeliormus likely hunted smaller and faster prey, relying on speed and agility rather than raw strength. Its long legs allowed it to sprint, and its narrow snout may have helped it grab moving targets with precision. In an ecosystem where giant predators ruled, Aeliormus filled a different niche, avoiding direct competition by focusing on prey that larger hunters ignored. It may have scavenged when the chance came, but its build suggests an active hunter. The floodplains where it lived were rich in life, with herds of plant-eaters, nesting grounds, and riverbanks full of fish and small animals. Its lighter build meant it could move more quietly and perhaps hunt in denser vegetation than the heavy T-Rex. When you imagine Aeliormus moving through tall grass, head low, tail stretched behind for balance, eyes fixed on its target, you can see the elegance in its design, a predator shaped not for overwhelming force, but for precision and speed, carving its own role in the dinosaur world. In the open woodlands of the late Cretaceous, a small but fierce predator darted between shadows, Dromaeosaurus, a close relative of Velociraptor but stockier and more powerfully built. It was about 6.5 feet long, with strong legs, a stiff balancing tail, and a sickle-shaped claw on each foot. Dromaeosaurus had a short, deep skull lined with sharp teeth, some serrated like a steak knife. Its bite was unusually strong for a raptor, allowing it to crush smaller bones and grip struggling prey. Its arms were muscular, with 3 clawed fingers capable of holding tight. Feathers likely covered its body, helping with warmth and display. It hunted small to medium animals, possibly even scavenging larger kills when the chance came. Its intelligence and sharp senses made it a dangerous ambush hunter, able to burst from cover and strike quickly. Dromaeosaurus lived alongside larger predators but occupied a different niche, relying on speed, agility, and teamwork in some cases, though whether it truly hunted in coordinated packs is still debated. Its remains are rare, but enough has been found to show it was a skilled and adaptable hunter. When you picture Dromaeosaurus in action, leaping toward prey with claws outstretched and jaws snapping, you see a predator built for precision, not size. In its world, that was often the deadliest combination. In the ancient seas of the early Jurassic, a marine reptile glided with smooth, powerful strokes, Ichthyosaurus. Its name means fish lizard, and its body shape reflected that perfectly, with a streamlined form like a modern dolphin, a long snout filled with cone-shaped teeth, and large eyes that helped it see in the dim light of deeper water. Ichthyosaurus grew up to 10 feet long and was an agile swimmer, feeding on fish, squid, and other small marine animals. It breathed air and gave birth to live young at sea. Fossils have been found with embryos still inside, showing that it never came to land. Its flippers were rigid, steering like airplane wings, while its tail provided most of the power. The large eyes suggest it could hunt in low light or even at night, following schools of fish or chasing prey into deeper water. Ichthyosaurus lived in a time when the seas were full of predators, from giant marine reptiles to sharks. But its speed and agility made it hard to catch. Its skin was smooth and hydrodynamic, allowing it to cut through the water with minimal resistance. It may have traveled in groups, offering protection and helping find food. When you imagine Ichthyosaurus breaking the surface for air, water streaming from its sleek body before diving again, you see a perfect blend of reptile and fish-like design, a creature shaped by millions of years of ocean life to master its world. In the thick jungles of the late Cretaceous in what is now Madagascar, a strange predator stalked the shadows, Majungasaurus, about 20 feet long with a short, deep skull and a single small horn on its forehead. It was a member of the Abelisaurid family, known for their blunt snouts and reduced arms. Majungasaurus had a powerful bite and strong neck muscles, allowing it to hold on to prey and tear away flesh. Its teeth were short but thick, shaped for slicing meat. It hunted medium to large plant eaters like the long-necked Rapidosaurus, and evidence from fossils shows it may have also eaten members of its own species, making it one of the few dinosaurs with clear proof of cannibalism. The island environment of Madagascar meant limited resources, so competition was fierce. Majungasaurus likely used ambush tactics, staying hidden until it could strike with speed. Its legs were strong but built more for bursts of power than long chases. Its horn may have been used for display or in head butting contests with rivals. Its skin, like other abelisaurids, may have been rough and bumpy, possibly with rows of small scales. When you imagine it moving through the dense forest, blending into the dappled light, then lunging forward with jaws wide, you see a predator perfectly adapted to its isolated island home, where it ruled as top hunter. In the northern seas of the late Cretaceous, a long-necked marine reptile glided through the cold waters, Elasmosaurus, one of the most extreme members of the plesiosaur family, with a neck making up nearly half of its total 46-foot length. It had over 70 vertebrae in its neck alone, allowing it to move its small head in many directions while keeping its body still. This was perfect for sneaking up on schools of fish or squid, grabbing them with sharp, interlocking teeth. Its four large flippers gave it powerful strokes, moving more like a penguin than a modern seal. It breathed air and gave birth to live young. Fossils suggest it may have been a slow swimmer compared to other marine reptiles, but its stealth and reach made up for it. It could lift its head above the water to scan for predators or prey, and may have hunted near the surface or among reefs. Its large eyes helped it see in dim light, and its streamlined body let it glide quietly, avoiding the attention of larger hunters like mosasaurs. The image of Elasmosaurus with its long neck curving through the water, head darting forward to snatch a fish, is one of the most distinctive in prehistoric seas. It shows that sometimes, specialization can lead to truly unique designs, even if it comes with trade-offs in speed or power. In the dry open lands of the late Cretaceous in what is now Mongolia, one of the strangest-looking dinosaurs ever to walk the earth roamed the desert dunes and scrublands, Therizinosaurus, a creature so bizarre that when its first claws were discovered, scientists thought they belonged to a giant turtle. This animal could grow over 30 feet long and weigh several tons, yet it was not a fearsome carnivore like its long claws suggested. Instead, it was a plant eater, using those massive sickle-shaped claws, some over 3 feet long, to pull down branches and strip leaves. Its long neck, small head, and leaf-shaped teeth suited it for browsing plants, while its wide pot-bellied body held a huge gut for digesting tough vegetation. Its feathers, likely covering much of its body, may have been for display, warmth, or signaling to others of its kind. The claws may also have been used in defense, delivering devastating slashes to predators like Tarbosaurus. Its large size would have deterred many attackers, but the claws were an extra layer of security. The desert environment it lived in was harsh, with seasonal rains bringing brief abundance followed by long dry periods. Therizinosaurus likely moved slowly through its territory, feeding on whatever plants it could find. Its long legs allowed it to travel far in search of food, while its strange body proportions made it one of the most distinctive shapes in the dinosaur world. The combination of a bird-like body, massive claws, and a peaceful herbivorous diet is a perfect example of how evolution creates unexpected forms. Imagine seeing it in life, towering over shrubs, claws gleaming in the sun, feathers shifting in the breeze, moving with slow deliberate steps, its head reaching up to pluck leaves as easily as a giraffe might today. Therizinosaurus was a gentle giant in appearance but carried the kind of weapons that made even top predators think twice. Its fossils have taught us that not all large theropods were hunters, and that appearances can be misleading in the ancient world. It stands as a reminder that some of the strangest designs in nature can also be among the most successful. Far to the south during the early Jurassic, in the lush river valleys of what is now China, herds of long-necked sauropods grazed on ferns and tall trees. Among them moved one of the earliest and most graceful giants, Mamenchosaurus, famous for having one of the longest necks of any dinosaur. Some species had necks that stretched over 30 feet, nearly half their total body length. Supported by a series of elongated vertebrae filled with air sacs to keep them light yet strong, its body was relatively small compared to its neck, giving it a strange, almost unbalanced appearance, but this design allowed it to feed over a wide area without moving its heavy body much. It could sweep its neck from side to side, stripping leaves with its peg-like teeth and swallowing them whole. Digestion took place in its large stomach, likely aided by swallowed stones that helped grind the food. Mamenchisaurus lived in warm, wet environments filled with conifers, ginkgos, and cycads. It may have traveled in herds for protection, with adults shielding the young from predators. Its long tail balanced its neck and may have been used for defense or communication, perhaps snapping like a whip, though this is still debated. Its sheer size kept most predators at bay, but large theropods of its time might have targeted juveniles. The neck may have also played a role in courtship, with individuals raising and moving them in displays of strength. Seeing a herd of Mamenchisaurus would have been an awe-inspiring sight, necks swaying above the treetops, bodies moving slowly but steadily, their steps shaking the ground. They were a testament to how far evolution could stretch a body plan, pushing the limits of what was possible for a land animal. Mamenchisaurus shows us that the Age of Giants was not just about size, but about specialization, and in its case, the extreme elongation of the neck was both a tool for feeding and a display of evolutionary creativity. It remains one of the most iconic examples of sauropod design. In the rolling floodplains and forests of the late Cretaceous in what is now North America, one of the most famous dinosaurs of all time grazed in massive herds, Triceratops, a plant-eater instantly recognizable by its 3 facial horns and large bony frill at the back of its skull. It could grow over 30 feet long and weigh more than 10 tons. Its body was stocky and powerful, supported by 4 sturdy legs. The 2 long brow horns and shorter nose horn were made of solid bone covered in keratin, like a rhino's horn today, and could be used for defense, combat with rivals, or display to attract mates. The frill may have served multiple purposes, including protection of the neck, muscle attachment, and colorful signaling. Triceratops' mouth ended in a sharp beak for clipping plants, and behind it were rows of shearing teeth arranged in batteries that could grind tough vegetation like cycads and palms. Evidence from fossils suggests these animals may have engaged in horn-to-horn combat, with healed wounds matching the size and shape of each other's horns. Triceratops likely lived in groups, providing protection from predators like Tyrannosaurus rex, which it faced often. In a fight, Triceratops could lower its head, lock its front legs, and charge forward, using its horns as spears. Its tail was short, but its muscular neck gave it the strength to swing its head with deadly force. Yet despite its weapons, Triceratops was primarily peaceful, spending most of its time grazing and moving between feeding areas. Its thick skin and heavy skull bones show it was built to survive in a dangerous world. The image of a herd moving slowly through tall grass, frills catching the sunlight, young staying close to the center for safety, is one of the most iconic scenes in the dinosaur age. Triceratops remains one of the last great successes of the horned dinosaurs before the end Cretaceous extinction. In the warm shallow seas of the early Cretaceous, a predator soared over the water, its wings stretched wide as it searched for fish below. Ornithocheirus, one of the largest pterosaurs of its time, with a wingspan reaching over 20 feet, it was a master of the skies and coasts. Its long narrow beak was lined with pointed teeth near the front, perfect for snatching slippery prey from the waves. It may have flown for hours at a time, gliding on ocean winds to conserve energy, much like modern albatrosses. When hunting, it could dive low, skimming the surface and snapping up fish before climbing back into the air. Its body was light but strong, supported by hollow bones and powerful flight muscles. Ornithocheirus likely nested on cliffs or isolated islands safe from land predators, laying eggs that would hatch into young already capable of flight. Its lifestyle took it far from shore, and it may have traveled thousands of miles following seasonal food sources, the fossil record shows. It lived across what is now Europe, South America, and Africa, meaning it was highly adaptable. Its wings were formed by a skin membrane stretching from an elongated fourth finger down to its body and legs, giving it incredible control in the air. In flight, its silhouette was sleek, with a small crest on its beak that may have been used for display or to stabilize during flight. The seas below were filled with marine reptiles, sharks, and schools of fish, and Ornithocheirus occupied a top spot. In the aerial food chain, when you imagine it flying at sunrise over a calm sea, wings catching the golden light as it scans for movement below, you see the grace and skill of one of prehistory's greatest flyers, a creature perfectly adapted for a life between sea and sky. In the dry windswept plains of the late Cretaceous in what is now Asia, one of the fastest and most graceful of all the oviraptorosaurs darted across the landscape, Pseudopodi, a feathered, beaked dinosaur with long legs, slender arms, and a tall crest on its head. It was about 10 feet long and light in build, perfectly suited for speed and agility. Its beak had no teeth, instead shaped for eating a mix of plants, seeds, eggs, and possibly small animals. Pseudopodi is best known for its remarkable nesting behavior. Fossils have been found of adults preserved in a brooding position over their nests, arms spread in a protective circle, much like modern birds. This shows that Pseudopodi cared for its young, keeping eggs warm and safe from predators and the elements. Its feathers may have been brightly colored, used for display during courtship or to signal warnings. The tall crest likely played a role in communication, perhaps through visual signals or even sound resonance. The desert environment it lived in could be harsh, with sandstorms and extreme temperatures, so Pseudopodi's speed helped it escape predators like Velociraptor, while its intelligence allowed it to adapt to changing conditions. When threatened, it could use its strong legs to deliver quick kicks, and its beak could deliver a sharp bite, but it likely avoided conflict when possible, preferring to rely on awareness and swift movement. The sight of a psittipodi guarding its nest in the middle of an endless desert, crest rising above the sand, feathers rippling in the wind, is a powerful image of both beauty and dedication in the dinosaur world. In the tropical rivers and floodplains of the early Cretaceous, a predator unlike any other hunted the waterways. Spinosaurus, the largest known carnivorous dinosaur, even longer than Tyrannosaurus, reaching over 50 feet in length. It had a long narrow snout filled with conical teeth, perfect for catching slippery prey, and its most striking feature was the towering sail on its back, formed by elongated neural spines that could reach over 6 feet tall. The purpose of the sail is still debated. It may have been used for display, temperature regulation, or even to store fat. Spinosaurus had adaptations for a semi-aquatic lifestyle, including dense bones that helped it stay submerged, wide feet possibly suited for paddling, and a tail shaped for powerful side-to-side swimming. Its nostrils were set high on its snout, allowing it to breathe while partially underwater. Fossil evidence shows it hunted fish such as sawfish and coelacanth, but it may have also scavenged and hunted on land. When the opportunity arose, its massive claws could grasp prey or tear apart carcasses, and its powerful legs, though shorter than those of many large theropods, were strong enough for bursts of speed on land. Spinosaurus lived in a warm wet world full of crocodile-like predators, but its size and aquatic skills placed it at the top of its food chain. Imagine it standing in a river shallows, sail rising like a wall behind it, water swirling around its legs as it snaps its jaws shut on a massive fish. This was a hunter that blurred the line between land and water, a unique design in the dinosaur kingdom that remains one of the most fascinating and debated to this day. In the high mountain forests of the late Jurassic in what is now China, a small, feathered dinosaur leapt from branch to branch, Microraptor, one of the most bird-like dinosaurs ever discovered. It was about the size of a crow but had a remarkable body plan, with long feathers not only on its arms and tail but also on its legs, creating 4 aerodynamic surfaces. This gave it the ability to glide between trees and perhaps even achieve short bursts of powered flight. Its long, narrow tail feathers helped with stability and steering, while its curved claws allowed it to climb easily. Microraptor's sharp teeth and claws suggest it was a carnivore, feeding on small animals, birds, mammals, and possibly fish. Fossils with preserved stomach contents show that it could hunt in a variety of environments, from tree canopies to forest floors. The ability to move through the air gave it a huge advantage, letting it escape predators and surprise prey from above. Its iridescent feathers may have also been used for display, shimmering in the sunlight to attract mates or warn rivals. In life, Microraptor would have been fast, agile, and intelligent, navigating a three-dimensional world of branches, leaves, and shadows. When you imagine it launching from a branch, wings spread wide, feathers flashing as it swoops silently toward an unsuspecting lizard, you see one of nature's earliest experiments with flight. A reminder that the line between dinosaurs and birds was not a sharp divide, but a gradual transformation written in feathers and bone. As the age of dinosaurs came to an end in the late Cretaceous, the Earth was home to some of the most remarkable creatures to ever walk, swim, or fly. Among them was the mighty Tyrannosaurus rex, the undisputed apex predator of its world, growing up to 40 feet long and weighing over 9 tons. With a massive skull filled with teeth the size of bananas, each serrated for slicing through flesh and strong enough to crush bone. Its bite force was the most powerful of any land animal known, capable of snapping through the thick bones of its prey with ease. Its eyes faced forward, giving it excellent depth perception, and its sense of smell was incredibly sharp, allowing it to track prey from miles away. Despite its tiny arms, each ending in 2 clawed fingers, its massive legs allowed it to move quickly over short distances, possibly reaching speeds of 20 miles per hour. T-Rex hunted large plant eaters like Triceratops and Edmontosaurus, but it may have also scavenged when the chance came. Its dominance was challenged by no other land predator in its territory. The end of its reign came suddenly with the asteroid impact that ended the Cretaceous, wiping out most large life forms, yet for millions of years, T-Rex was the ultimate symbol of power in the dinosaur world. When you picture it striding across a floodplain, head swaying with each step, tail balancing its massive body, eyes locked on its next meal, you see an animal that embodied the peak of predator evolution, a living reminder that in its time, there was nothing more feared. Its story closes the chapter on the Age of Dinosaurs, but its legend continues, a name that will always stand for the raw, unmatched power of prehistoric life.